Hi everyone, it's the first video for my channel, James's Wheels. I thought I'd do a quick intro about what I've just bought. It's this. It is, let me zoom out a little bit, is a 2001 Porsche Carrera 2 996.2. It's the second generation one. And it's got a full aero kit on. It's got GT3 wheels. It's got the smaller of the aero kit spoilers. There's two of them actually. I quite like this one actually. It's a bit more discreet. Obviously look amazing from the back. So I bought this one from a guy in just near Brighton actually, and he'd had it for 8 years, yeah, he was the second owner. So one of the main reasons I bought it was, one, because I like the look of it. Can't go wrong with that aero kit. Just look at the lines on it, beautiful. And the second reason is because it's only got 23,000 miles on it. So let me just have a quick jump. So obviously full black leather, non-sunroof option, which is a bit of a shame. It's got wingback seats on it. It's Tiptronic, which is what I was looking for, because it's going to be my daily driver. So as you can see, 23,000 miles. It's got the old PCM1 on it, which is, you know what, it's a bit of an antique. I actually quite like it, to be honest. It really fits in the design with the car. The sound's not great. It hasn't got the Bose speakers, which is good, because I'm going to try and probably do a bit of an upgrade. But yeah, it's mint inside, absolutely mint. Everything works on it, except this doesn't reset the indicator, and the right doesn't hold. So obviously left sets, but the right just releases on itself. But yeah, otherwise it's really good. I bought this little bad boy, this little Bluetooth thing. It's like 15 quid on Amazon. I'll stick a link in the description below. But yeah, it works really well with the stereo. Let me put the keys in. Oh no, I don't. So yeah, just stick it on 107.9. But anyway, it works. It's got the navigation, and the other thing is this, I don't know if this is true or not, you can tell me if you're a 996 owner, but you press this and it only works 3 times and then it stops. So my feeling is that the button is not latching. But anyway, yes, it's all pretty standard inside. As I say, everything works. The old these things are working all right with the little lights on. Really tidy, nice and clean. It's got the cruise control, 4 stalks, and obviously just flicking through the old. Let's see if we can fire up. I think I've got a little blow in the exhaust, but you can see the lights on. It's got a really good oil pressure off on the bat. I bought it last week and I've done like 300 miles already in it, which is probably the most it's done in the past 18 months. But yeah, cracking car. And as mentioned, this is going to be my daily. So, why did I buy a Porsche 996 Carrera 2? So I've always wanted one since I was a bambino. I remember my mate's dad, he had a 964 911 Carrera 2, and it was silver, basically like this as well, had the wing on the back and everything. And I remember he nearly wrapped it one night when we must have been about 12, and we were going to like this school disco thing, and obviously trying to impress the girls. So my mate was like, he wasn't into cars, but I was like, oh, come get your dad to take us there in the 911. And his dad was coming around the corner, like basically next to where the village hall was, and basically lost the back end, nearly wrapped it into a hedge, just missed the hedge. So we were trying to get attention when we rocked up, and we certainly did, but it's kind of embarrassing. Everyone was giving my mate's shit about his dad's driving and everything, so good times. So anyway, and then since then I've had a couple of Porsches. I had a 944 turbo, I had the wife had a Cayenne, which actually caught fire, believe it or not. So that's another story, tell you about later down the line. And then I thought about, we've got an electric car, a Hyundai Ioniq 5, which I'm going to do a bit of a review about. She's done 5,000 miles on that. That's the wife's car. I don't do many miles, 20 miles a day, to work and back, and fairly interesting roads. So I thought, let's get something that I'm going to enjoy. But the idea was I wanted something daily, and I wanted something that was reliable, and something comfortable. And to be honest, this thing is really comfortable. I mean, it's once you get in it, getting in and out, it is quite low, and it is quite deep, but it is comfortable. I managed to work out, these seats are a little bit hard. I managed to work out the old to get the old seat as low as I could, and that made it a lot better. But yeah, talking about the ride, and I'll put some photos up as well of this, but this has got the M030 suspension on it, which is basically sport suspension, and it's pretty firm. It's probably too firm, to be honest, but I'm going to have a look at that probably in the future, maybe go for a set of KWs or something like that. So on that note, subscribe, press the old notification bell if you want to hear more adventures about James's wheels, because I've got some good adventures coming up, and I've got some other cars which I'm going to do a bit of an overview about as well, because I love cars, and I spend all my money on cars, and yeah, that's what I like to do. Moving on anyway, sport suspension, pretty hard. I think I've got a bit of a blowing air exhaust in the back. The gearbox, I'm still getting used to it. You know what? This is the Mercedes gearbox. I think it was in the old E classes. And you know what? As an automatic gearbox, it's absolutely fine. It shifts nicely. It's a little bit. It's sluggish. It's very slow, but it would definitely suit. You know, you can imagine it being in an E320 or something like that, where you're not really going to be ragging it, you know, you're just going to be taking your family around and all the rest of it probably. Switches, which I've just started the old Tiptronic switches, which I've just started using more and more actually. It's quite good. It's definitely better. I mean, look, the whole reason I bought the Tiptronic is because there is sometimes a bit of traffic on the way to work, and you know, the old clutch foot is a bit of a pain in the arse. So you know, the gearbox is perfect for that. You switch it into manual, and then you get on the old buttons, and it is good. There's definitely a delay, but you can just time it. You know, you just obviously time it like you're going to change gear. You just wait. You know, I would say if you're flooring it, it probably takes like 1,000 revs before it actually changes. So you know, if you're shifting, I normally find if you're shifting about, if you're really gunning it, if you're shifting around, pressing the button around 5,500. you get to about 6,500, and it just, you know, that's like the sweet spot with it. So that's what I found anyway. What happens is, when you're switching into tip, so you stick it into drive, you switch it, and it switches into manual. Sorry, I'm just doing this video for anybody who hasn't bought this car before and are interested. So what it does is, it obviously selects the gears there. You know, you do first and second from the off, but it will switch back over to drive, and I've worked it out, it's about 10 seconds when you're driving. Obviously I just switched the selector over there from you know, manual to drive, but I've worked out when you're driving you've got about 10 seconds in Tiptronic mode without doing anything, and then it'll switch over. What I've also found is when you're in drive, if you basically floor it and you're in, say, second, it'll hold the gear quite well. But if you just kind of give it half pedal, it does this really, really annoying like acceleration about 3,000 revs, and then just like drops it into third. It's quite painful actually for a sports car, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, you see the oil pressure is pretty good on it. Temperature sits just over 80. I think I'm probably going to put a new battery in it, to be honest, because I don't really know how old this one is. Yeah, it's been stamped up to about 17,000 by Porsche main dealer, and then this guy's basically had it done by a sort of local garage. It's a BMW specialist actually. So what I've done is I booked it into Precision Porsche, which is not far from me. These guys in the southeast, and they're meant to be the Mutts Nuts. So I've booked it at that in there next month. Gonna get in for a full major service, full oil, filters. I'm going to get them to check all the suspension, because obviously with a low mileage older car you would expect it to be a bit worn out, but to be honest, I drive it and there's not really any squeaks, or there's a little bit from the dashboard, but I think that's pretty much to be expected. But actually from the car itself, there's no knocking, no noises, just changing the steering wheel there, you know, no squeaks, checked all the corners. So let's see. The exhaust is a bit quiet, it is blowing a little bit, so I'm going to get them to look at that. I've got a feeling they're going to tell us to change the silencers, so that is something I will do. Let's just see, probably go for, not sure, I've seen I've been watching a few videos and trying to get a bit of inspiration for exhaust, but let's see. I don't want it too loud, to be honest. I think it actually sounds pretty nice as standard. I think I'm past the old boy racer cherry bomb stage of my life. Nova GSIs. It's quite bumpy, as you can see, just bumping along. I mean, this road is pretty bumpy anyway, to be honest, but yeah, this suspension, it's probably a little bit too firm for my liking. I mean, really, although this is a sport performance vehicle, I think because it's going to be my daily, that I need it to be a bit more comfortable, because yeah, I'm going to be using it every day. So yeah, I'm just going to take it for a quick blast now, just to have a little sound of it, because she sounds nice. So as you can hear, pulls quite nice when you floor it. Yeah. Did you hear that there? So you just start to floor it, and then it just over 3,000 rev just cuts you off, which is a little bit frustrating. But I guess just the characteristic of the gearbox, which is just tapping it down. I'll just do a quick drive up this road actually and come back, because I'm gonna have my dinner. I'm absolutely starving. So yeah, obviously I have to hold the indicator on, which is really, really annoying. But yeah, let's just do a little spin here. So it's nice, sounds really good. So you see it's still a manual there, and then what it'll do is it'll kick back into drive in a minute. Yeah, see, you get about 10 seconds of what I call no action, 10 seconds of no action in manual, and then it just kicks you back over to drive, which is fine. Yeah, as I say, so still getting used to the gearbox. It's you see, I'm on a nice flat surface now, so the ride is fine. It's really, really responsive to the steering, as you'd expect. Really well balanced. Obviously, rear engine vehicle, rear wheel drive. I wanted rear wheel drive because I really wanted the authentic experience. I mean, I was looking originally at Carrera 4S's because, well, they just look absolutely amazing with the turbo body. And I did some more reading and some more looking around, and basically I then decided to go for a 996.2 facelift with an aero kit. That's what I was looking for, in tip, low mileage. I wanted a sunroof, couldn't get a sunroof, but to be honest, I was looking for about a couple of months, had looked at a few absolute terrible examples, which would just be a terrible buy. And then literally I found this one on Car Guru, which is a pretty random website, to be honest, and I was like, is this a real website? You know, sometimes you go on them and you think, and the advert's been on there for like 5 months or something, you think, oh, this is just a scam website. But anyway, I dropped the email to the guy who I bought it off, just messaged us straight back and said, yeah, it's still available. So then I went down and I just bought it then and there. So again, please subscribe to my channel. It's going to be some really cool, interesting content. As I say, mad about cars. I think I'm a pretty funny guy, to be honest, as well. So obviously this is my first video, so I'm still getting the knack of it. But please subscribe, get listening to the channel, and yeah, be entertained.